I said a boom, 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 and let me hear you say Monday analysis. I said a boom, 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 and let me hear you say Monday analysis. Hey, I'm not going to sing the Let Me Lick Your Arm part. How's it going, everyone? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another edition of Monday analysis with me, the Flying Pig here on the channel. Thanks for stopping by, everybody who's in here right now. Some people already involved. Shout out to you guys, you early birds. Alex Rudd, Storyface. Yep, just you guys. But there will be an abundance of other piglets or the Bacon Brigade or whatever you want to call you guys along shortly, I'm sure. So thanks everybody who is involved right now stopping by. You're a bunch of legends. Where do I begin, man? We've got Jose Mourinho still as manager of Manchester United. He's still the manager. He's still there. Sleeping in that hotel room, collecting the money every week. We're still paying him. Okay, you could argue we have to pay him more to get rid of the prick, but it would be money well spent. It's time for the twat to go. I've had enough of the Portuguese Mr. Bean. Just jog on. Jose Mourinho, you're Mr. Beanio. Now, piss off. That's sort of how I feel. What the hell? Anyway, so hope you're having a good one right now. Today is a miserable day in England, certainly in southern England, and it's absolutely filth. Made even worse by the fact that at the weekend United got battered by the Scousers of all people. You know, there's no worse taste in your mouth than the weekend after being battered by the Scousers of all people. Well, maybe actually going out and having a one-night stand with somebody from Liverpool. Maybe that would leave a worse taste in your mouth. But other than that, there's not many worse tastes in the mouth than losing to the Scousers in the manner that we did. It's not just the fact that we lost. They battered us, didn't they? They dominated us. This isn't a United team. Where's the ability to match Liverpool? We have got attacking talents. Let's go for it. But no, Jose's just a complete goon. All he does is stick to his own horrible defensive tactics. Did he come out after the game and say something like the best result we could have hoped for was a draw there at Anfield? Like, piss off, mate. Sir Alex was like, I never played for a draw. Why the hell do we want a manager who's playing for draws, who's hoping for draws? We don't need a manager like that. Not at a football club like United, who should not accept anything but the best. You know, second place shouldn't be good enough with the mentality of the club that we are. And you can say it's arrogant. Neutral fans, opposition fans, they'll say we're arrogant to still have this mentality after these years. But United should at least be expecting the best that the team can muster. They should be expecting passion, and they should be expecting proper effort out there, and also just a bit of quality football, a bit of entertainment. Liverpool fans are being treated pretty damn well at the moment by the manager they've got, by the players they've got, the team they've got, the way that they play football. It shouldn't be the way. Liverpool are a shit team, you know, over the last 20-odd years. They're not, okay, they're good. They're still one of the best teams in the league, you know, even when they just haven't been able to win anything for all that time. They have still been up there challenging and stuff. They are a good team. But come on, certainly in my lifetime, United should be at least capable of challenging Liverpool at any moment in time. But at this moment in time, with Mourinho in charge and Klopp over there at Liverpool, it's not even a close run thing. Did you see how much they dominated us? They battered us. They made us look foolish out there just simply because it was relentless. You know, something like they had 36 shots on target. And almost said 36 shits then. I'd have rather if that happened. Do you know what I mean? They'd have just curled one out repeatedly on the pitch instead of banging the goals in the back of the net. That would have been a better afternoon's viewing. But, no, they battered us. We had like 6 shots on target throughout the entire game. I don't care if we're in a bad run. I don't care if we're away at Anfield and Liverpool are a good side. You know, at least go for it. At least give it a go, lads. You know, and it's everybody here. It's not just the players, not just Jose. It's everybody. Go for it. Change the mentality up. Play a little bit more free and attacking football. You know, okay, Liverpool are a great side. Sometimes you just got to take your hat off and say they're just better than us. But that shouldn't be the way. It's just not right that Liverpool are that much better than us. Fair enough, you know, they could have a season where they finish above us, or they're a bit better than us, or, you know, they're still shit and we're shit. But not to be that far ahead of us, not to be 19 points ahead of us at this stage of the season. It is absolutely blasphemous, the fact that we are that far behind. Alex Ferguson, Bobby Charlton watched the game at Anfield. I feel sorry. It's a disgrace that they should have to put up with watching this level of shite after the majestic careers that they put into making this club what it is, or what it was at least, because I'm not even sure if it's the same now, you know, with these American owners. We've got the Glazers. You know, seriously, I really do think we need to bring that whole love United, hate Glazers thing back out of the shadows, because that's just, you know, the only way we can really make it clear that we're not happy with how the club is being run, because that's what it is. It's mismanagement from the very top down. We've got players in there that are capable of playing football and should be capable of playing, but it's mismanagement from the top down, whether it's lack of signings, whether it's taking money out of the club and just you seeing it as a commercial enterprise. I don't know what it is, but we've got serious mismanagement from the top down, and I think the only way that this club is really going to fulfill its potential and compete with the likes of City and Liverpool in the transfer market and that sort of stuff, because I think the last window was an indicator that maybe the current owners are not prepared to do that, or maybe they didn't want to put faith in Jose and give him the money. But if that's the case, then why is the twat still here? Oh, it really winds me up. It really does wind me up, lads and lasses, just thinking about it, because I think they could be doing such a better job from the top down. They could be getting better players in, investing in the club. But the fact is they're siphoning money out of the club. That's the fact of it. Even if it's 1%, that is not the full potential of Manchester United. It's not. We don't have an oligarch from Russia or Saudi Arabia or whatever who's going to pump money into the club like the, you know, City and Chelsea and those guys have. We don't have that. We've got American owners who bought the money with debt and are basically servicing that, trying to pay the club off, taking money out of the club. It's not a good situation this is in. We've allowed our club to be purchased by a bunch of Yank tycoons, man, who don't have the best interest of the football club at heart, who don't have the fans' best interest of the football club at heart. Because if they did, they'd have got rid of Jose by now, because the level of football's terrible. Fair enough, we're not challenging, winning things, whatever. That's one thing. That's one fucking calamity. But the fact that we're playing such shite football and the fans are coming through the turnstiles, they're going away, Champions League, they're going all over the place supporting their team, and they are not even being treated to any exciting football whatsoever. I just think they don't give a shit. The owners don't give a shit, really. Not truly, anyway. They maybe give a shit in the sense that it's a business that makes them money, so they do care, you know, what the fans think. Well, we need to let them know that those bastards are not welcome anymore. You know, it's not just Jose. You know, I want Jose out. I don't think he's the right fit for the club. He's shown that. Some of the players, I'd get rid of 6, 7, 8 of the players as well, because I don't think they're the right fit for the club. But the owners, at the end of the day, the ones that are masterminding this whole shit show that is United right now, I don't think they'll leave. Why would you sell Manchester United unless somebody came in with a ridiculous offer, 5 billion, 2 billion, however much it would be? Because let's not forget that United is a Goliath in terms of global brand, a commercial enterprise. They are an absolute beast, and they will continue to make whoever owns them shitloads of money, or the shareholders, all that sort of thing, because it is a complete brand. It's a global brand, Manchester United, I think if the club was owned by somebody who was more passionate, or maybe, you know, a collection of fans, it's a dream. But I think this club would then have its best interest in heart. The owners of the club would have the club's best interest at heart. But under this current regime, it doesn't seem like they're even really looking to make the fans happy. You know, the fans have made it clear now. I don't think there's anybody that thinks that Jose Mourinho should still be manager. Maybe there's a few twats out there with rose-tinted spectacles on who just love Mr. Bean and can't get Mr. Bean out of their head. So they see Jose, they think he looks like Rowan Atkinson and Mr. Bean, but a Portuguese version. I love him. Those guys probably still want Jose. But most people who actually want to see exciting football, want to see their team go out there and compete with their bitter mortal enemies, the dirty Scousers. We don't think that. I think that he's had his time. He's run the course. He's had plenty of money, plenty of time. He's had all the experience of being a successful manager. Why can't he make it work at United? You can't. If you can't do it in 2.5 years, Jose, then you never freaking will, pals. Just want to say again to everybody who's tuning in right now, thanks so much for stopping by. We've just hit over 100 people tuning in now. Everybody, you're very welcome. Thanks so much for getting involved with the Monday Analysis episode. Get your comments and stuff in. I will be going back to them and commenting and hearing what you guys think about the current situation. But I'm just getting my words out right now, because I've got a lot to say. I'm very pissed off about the situation at the club, Jose, everything, you know, just getting out right now. So, but yeah, just want to say, actually, we've just hit 21,000 subscribers on the channel, which is amazing. You know, we've gone up, I think, 1,000 relatively quickly from when we hit 20,000. I don't know when we actually did, maybe 6 months ago or something. But it's a slow, steady increase. So everybody, the new subscribers, the old subscribers, everybody who does watch these videos, thank you so much for getting involved with them and subscribing and following along. and watching this. Why would you do that? But because you do, I much appreciate it. Do us a favour right now. Smash a like on it. Subscribe if you're new here. You're probably not, but if you are new here, smash that subscribe button. Do you know what I mean? Oh, what a calamity, lads and lasses. Right, let me get on to the news of the day, actually, which is Manchester United have drawn PSG in the Champions League. Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain. Shit in hell. It's not good for United at the moment. You know, it doesn't fill us with confidence having to play PSG right now. I know PSG can be got at. It's not the worst draw that we could have got. They're not the best team left in the Champions League, but they're up there. They've got an incredible front three. You know, Mbappe, Neymar, Cavani. You know, it's as good as anybody, really. They're going to... Do you think Phil Jones and Chris Smalling are going to be able to handle those lads? Do you know what I mean? They can't even handle friggin' Southampton or whoever it is. Do you think they're going to be able to handle Kylian? Do you think Kylian's not going to have a field day playing up against No Bones Jones? Because he is. Do you think Neymar is not going to go to town on our defence? Because he is. Now, maybe we could play on the offensive, and we could make a game of it, and we could go for it, but not while we've got Jose in charge. I know these games are not for a very long time, so I'm hoping that he won't be in charge. But hold on, he shouldn't be in charge now. So it wouldn't surprise me if those twatty owners we've got just decided to keep him around because maybe it's cheaper to get rid of him and pay him a termination fee and all that sort of stuff, and get a new manager in and pay them a signing on fee. You know, it's cheaper just to keep the bastard and grin and bear it and take the money out of the club at the end of the season, isn't it, you Glazers? You dirty Glazers. I've had enough of them now. I have, because it's been okay. Fair enough. They were spending some money. They were servicing the debt of the club. It's realistic. You know, that's modern football, unfortunately. But when the big boys in teams like City and Liverpool are spending the money, do have owners that are going to go for it. Chelsea, Roman Abramovich, say what you want about him. You'd love him if he was your chairman. Because, yes, he sees it as a business, but it's more just like a luxury toy for him. It's like, I will pump billions into this football club and it'll become my baby and it'll give me something to do a couple of times a week. That's basically what it is. So he does actually love the football club, even if he doesn't love it, which I'm sure he does. He's pumping so much money into the club that, it doesn't really get any better than that in terms of an investment point of view. If you're fans of a club and you want to see your club, it's City all over. Look at City. City were nowhere. City were a joke of a side. City were a joke of a side just a short while ago. And then they had the Saudi Arabian owners come in, inject all that money into it, over $1 billion since they've been into it, just on players spent, I believe. So they have invested heavily in the side. They've had waves. They've signed Robinho for 32 mil, record at the time. They signed, Roque Santa Cruz. Mark Hughes, got all those guys in there. Aguero, some and some of those players didn't work out. So there's a new wave of players that came in. They spent another couple $100 million, and those players didn't work out, and that manager didn't work out, Mancini, but they've always invested and always spent. So how can we compete with that? United is an amazing success around the world commercially, so we do generate a shitload of money, so we can compete with the top sides around Europe. But I'm sorry, at the moment, the spending power, the squad quality, the foundations of the club right now are in the favour of City and Liverpool. They've got even City've got a great academy and stuff like that now, and because they've invested so much money into it. I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson, man, I feel so bad for him. His face yesterday, it almost made me want to cry, because he is such a legend in the club. The quality football that he put out generally was absolutely amazing while he was manager of Manchester United, which, when you consider the longevity of his career, is absolutely unbelievable. Just to keep that consistency up and that winning mentality and that never say die attitude and that second place isn't good enough mentality, that is amazing. Just to watch, just for him to be watching Manchester United play Liverpool at the moment, where Liverpool are gulfs in class ahead of us, gulfs in points ahead of us in the table as well, making us look very, very second rate. Like we shouldn't even really be on the same pitch with them. And I hate talking like that, because a few years ago it's the other way around. And obviously we hate Liverpool as United fans and we don't want to see them playing. Well, you just got to respect the fact that at the moment they're a better team than us. I hope that if we could get a new manager in, we've still got quality players in the squad. There's lots of players in the squad I would love to keep as well. I've banged on about players I get rid of and players I get rid of. Let me just sort of off the top of my head run through it right now, if anybody's interested. But I would get rid of Jones because I just don't think he's good enough. I know he's a Fergie signing. He came in with bags of potential, looked really good. A couple of injuries here and there, never really fulfilled it. He's too error prone. He will bang in an OG if he's playing against PSG. That's all I'm saying. He's too inconsistent, too error prone. Chris Smalling, now maybe I would actually we've just given him a new bloody contract. So bearing that in mind, and bearing in mind I don't know if anybody would come in for an offer for Chris Smalling to match that overpaid contract, which it probably is. I would say he's an okay squad player to have around. There's an okay couple of seasons that he's had for Manchester United. You have to say under Louis van Gaal, he was one of our best performers that season, but he's still not to the level of being a United starting 11 sure thing starter, is he? Nowhere near. I think he's just a utility squad player, and you do need to have those players. I want to have this English spine of players and these players that you have in the squad to come up against certain teams in the cups and certain league games and stuff and substitutes and to cover injuries and all that. He would be a great player to have for that, but he's still not good enough, is he? He's not good enough standard to be representing United week in, week out. That's my personal opinion. Matic, Frankenstein's cousin. Matic, do want Static. I don't think he's good enough now. I think he's on a lot of money. Jose brought him in. He's Jose's golden boy. He's massaging Jose every night. They're doing all sorts. He loves Matic. I don't understand why. I sort of have seen Matic perform like an absolute beast before in the past. That season when Jose Mourinho had Matic and Fabregas when he returned to Chelsea for the second time, it's amazing how well that worked. But times change. Jose used to be a good manager. Times change. And I don't think Matic is good enough. He seems old and slow and just performing too inconsistently. Not good enough. Actually, he's performing consistently, just consistently shit. 10 games in a row now I've seen Static play absolutely gash, and he still gets selected in the side. He's a player that I would actually move on. Lukaku. Now, Lukaku, I was excited when we got Lukaku because I was expecting him to really kick on. 75 million or 80 million or whatever it is that we paid for him. There's a lot of money to pay for a player, but you were thinking we were getting a proven goal scorer in the Premier League who can just come in and bang in 25 goals a year because that's what he's previously done. That was his track record. And he had a reasonable start at United, actually. But he hasn't done anything to justify that transfer target. I don't actually think he is the right fit for United in a sense, as I've covered previously in videos. I'm not going to go on about it again, but I just think this type of player he is doesn't really fit at least the tradition and the recent history of United forwards in that sense of goal scorers. So I'm not even convinced about him. I don't think he's elegant or technical enough to beat a true United forward. Paul Pogba. Let's get on to Paul Pogba. Let's talk about Paul Pogba because there's lots of people commenting on my videos saying, oh, you're just on the Pogba bandwagon, hating on Pogba just for the sake of it. Agenda. All this shit. I do have an agenda. This is my agenda. I think he's shite. And I want him not to be playing for United because he's too bad. Look, okay, we've seen him play great for other teams. Juventus, he was great for seasons. France, he's been amazing for France. Okay, he wasn't one of their best players in the World Cup, but he was still very, very good for them. He still had a big influence on them winning the World Cup and performing so well. And we've seen him do that for other teams, every other team that he's played for, apart from Manchester United. So you could say that a lot of that is down to Jose Mourinho. And if we had a new manager come in with a new style and he didn't feel shackled and there wasn't this negativity and this controversy between the manager and the player, then maybe, just maybe, we would see Paul Pogba shine and we would see the best of him because we paid a lot of money for him. We're paying him a lot of money in wages and we need to see a return on that. Otherwise, I'm sorry, he can just go and do one. I've seen games where he's played amazing. That City game last season when we came back and won 3-2, he was instrumental in that game. It was absolutely quality. I couldn't fault him. He looked like a world-class player, like he should be on 500k a week. But since then, those performances have been few and far between. He's way too inconsistent. And people are saying, well, it's the team. If you've got Fellaini and Matic around you, how can he perform to that level? He should be good enough to be able to work to at least a good standard out there individually. Okay, fair enough. If he pings in a killer ball to Fellaini and Fellaini nods it into the corner flag, it's not really his fault, but at least play that killer ball. At least keep hold of the ball. At least don't give... One of the things that I keep repeating about him is he dawdles on it and he gives possession away way too much. You can't do that at this level. It will hurt us. He gives away the ball, the opposition counter-attack, gets them on the front foot. He does it every game he plays numerous times. Did you ever see Paul Scholes do shit like that? Maybe rarely, very rarely. And I know he's a different type of player. He's more physical. He's more box to box, or at least he should be. But in my opinion, from an individual point of view, he has not been good enough for United. Yeah, take into consideration the system being horrible, shackling him, the players are shit playing around him, fair enough. But the attacking talents we've got out there, you would think he'd still receive the ball, be able to keep hold of the ball, know who's around him, and get his head up, look for a pass, play that pass. You know, and he does do it sometimes. It's not like he's totally useless out there, but in my opinion, he has not lived up to the money. He's not lived up to the hype, the reputation of his previous career in the World Cup, whatever you want to say. For United, whether it's Jose's system and Jose Mourinho having this effect on Pogba, he's been nowhere near the level of player we should have, or you know, at United. So, in my opinion, I'd get rid of him. That's just my opinion. If somebody wanted to pay a reasonable amount and take him off our wage bill, I'd get rid of him because, you know, football, you've got to balance the books. I don't think he is worth the money we pay him. He's not worth the money we paid for him. He's not worth the money we pay him. So if you look at it from that point of view, just from a business point of view, he should be moved on. Not to mention he's just not performing out there on the pitch. I mean, fair enough. If somebody else came in. Look, the fact is we are going to see, at least I think we are going to see, just what Paul Pogba can actually do without Jose Mourinho at the club. Because it's just a matter of time that Jose gets the sack. Surely the board, it's just they've made the decision now, and it's just because of I don't know what reason that they can't announce it yet or something, or they've just got to wait a couple more days into a certain deadline so they can, you know, so they can make the announcement, whatever it is. I think if a new manager came in, we will see what Paul Pogba can do. And my personal opinion of it, he's not going to actually be doing that much. Because we would have seen at least glimpses of it, at least a bit more consistently from him if he was actually that good. And I'm sorry, I don't know what it is, whether he's just not the right fit for the club, whether the Premier League's a bit different for him, whatever it is, I think he's just not good enough. So there you go. There's four or five players I think we should be getting rid of. Players that I think we should 100% be keeping. Obviously, David De Gea, let's do everything we can to keep hold of him. Juan Mata, everything we can to keep hold of him. I know Valencia's old as fuck, but I still can't fault Valencia's contribution over his United career. I think you know he could do another season as a sub or whatever, but definitely need to improve. But I've got no problem with him. Juan Mata, I think, is one of the best players United have. He really fits that mold of a United player, that technical player. I like his attitude. I like his professionalism. Definitely keep him. You know, Sanchez. There's a player, in my opinion, who maybe with a new manager coming in, we could just see somebody getting the best out of him. That's the thing. We've got to play PSG in the Champions League. Neymar and Mbappe, Cavani. It's not until February or whatever it is. If we had a new manager come in, let's just say Mourinho gets sacked right now. While I'm doing this video, the news is announced that Jose's been sacked. So we appoint a new manager. Let's say Zidane. Let's just say we give a punt on Zidane. Zidane's got a couple of months and a transfer window to change the fortunes of this club around, to change the way of playing, change the style, change the confidence of the players, get Pogba performing, which, if anybody can, it'd probably be Zidane, being a fellow Frenchman, being a fellow, you know, player that has played at the very highest level. I think he could have a real positive effect on him. I do. Now, the proposition of playing PSG, if we've got players like Alexis Sanchez coming back into the side, who's just completely fallen by the wayside under Jose and has been shit. But if you got Alexis Sanchez anywhere near the level that he was for Arsenal when we signed him, we would give PSG a run for our money in February. But right now, with this team the way it is, it's no way, it's not really filling me with too much confidence that we could actually challenge PSG. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players that I would move on. There's players that I'd keep. The manager, I'd definitely move on. We just need a fresh approach. How is Mr. Bedio still here, though? Seriously. I mean, seriously. Who is he performing sexual favours for? That's what I want to know. Because he's still in the club. I mean, come on, I couldn't believe it. When I woke up this morning and it wasn't announced that Jose was... I was like, okay, what are they doing upstairs? You know, are they just waiting to save money? Is it as simple as that? Like, he's got to not qualify for the last 8 or whatever of the Champions League, and that's a clause in the contract that gets activated, and then you've got to... He has to take 8 million less... It's bullshit, lads! The owners having a mare. They're not respecting the fans. 99% of the fans do not believe Jose Mourinho is right for the club, that they're still persevering with Jose as manager. Why? Look at where we are in the league. Look at how we're performing. Look at how we performed against our bitter rivals. Look at how we perform. That's not an acceptable level. The only way that I think he would still be manager now is if the Glazers don't give a shit about the fans and they care more about the bottom line, which is probably, being an American tycoon businessman, probably what the situation actually is. I'm just going to go back and read a bunch of super chats that I've just seen come through. Everybody, thanks so much for getting involved with this Monday analysis. Over 200 people watching live right now. Bunch of legends. Chuck a like on it if you're new in here. Help me out on the video. Gungshi in the house with a super chat. Thanks so much for stopping by there, Gungshi. Dropping 500 Taiwanese big ones in this house. Thanks so much for stopping by there, Gunners. He comments and he says, "Hi, Pig. Just woke up after a trip to the emergency room. Holy shit! Feeling crappy, so it's nice to see your live Monday night analysis is on. Portuguese Mr. Bean out. Holy crap, Gungshi. I hope it's not anything too serious. I'm guessing if you've gone to the emergency room, it was an emergency and that is serious. So, and the fact that you're feeling crappy. So I hope that you're feeling better, man. And I hope whatever happened at the emergency room has got you on the right path to recovery. Because that doesn't sound too good, mate. But seriously, thanks so much for stopping by with your comment there. And I can only say thank you. That fills my heart with warmth. That it's nice to see that Monday analysis is on right now. And I agree, Portuguese Mr. Bean out. The time has come. The time came weeks ago. After the terrible pre-season, the start of the season we had, all the negativity, controversy shrouding his management at the club. It was due weeks ago. It was due maybe over a month ago. Jose Mourinho shouldn't have been able to continue because he's had all the time in the world. He's had all the money in the world. I'm sorry, it's not good enough. He's not performed as a manager. Anybody else, whatever you do, let's just say you were a bank manager, right? Let's just say you were a great bank manager and then Barclays Bank come after you, right? You used to work at, I don't know, let's just say like Bank of America or some shit. You used to work there and you were a great bank manager, #1 in your region or whatever the fuck you want to say. And you get headhunted by Barclays and Barclays are paying you big bucks. And it's a bigger job role, bigger opportunity. Now, your region, when you take over Barclays, they're second, man. They are second in their region. Out of all the Barclays freaking branches, they're performing pretty damn well, aren't they? You go in there, 2.5 years later, they're now 8th. They're now the 8th best performing branch at freaking Barclays, pal. And you still expect you to keep your job, do you, mate? You know? I'm sorry, but if you're performing like that in any role as a manager, in any job, occupation, whatever you want to call it, surely you should be sacked after you've been given lots of resources, lots of time, have all the experience, but you're still underperforming. You're still underachieving. Shouldn't be anywhere near that role, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think the time has come long ago for Jose Mourinho to just pack up his Portuguese sack and move on. Move on down the highway. I'd love to see him walking out of that hotel, you know, with a pole, with a napkin, tied to the pole with his belongings in it, you know, his toothbrush, razor, all that. Probably all his buddy got in there, because who the hell lives in a hotel room for that period of time? You've got to ask yourself serious questions about Jose Mourinho as a person anyway. Just the fact that he's happy to live in a hotel room for 2.5 fucking years. Do you know what I mean? Who does that, mate? It's not a holiday, mate. This is a serious job. Managing the greatest football club in all the land is a serious job. Buy a house, mate. It's not like you're not short of a bob or two. Fucking hell. Thank you so much, Gungshi, for stopping by. Honestly, I hope you're feeling much better, mate. That is not good to hear that you went to the emergency room. Everybody else, I'm just going to go back quickly through the comments, make sure I haven't missed anybody else out. James Arnold with a super chat here. Thank you so much for stopping by and getting involved with that, James. He says, reports saying he's staying. Jesus Christ. I mean, come on, James. How can that be? I think he is going to stay, though. I don't know how it can be the case, but I do believe that the board are holding out from a financial point of view. They don't want to have to pay him the 20 million compensation at this stage or whatever. The longer he's here, maybe after, you know, the new year, maybe it will just become a lot less that they have to pay in terms of a contractual obligation as a compensation package. I don't really know how it works, but all I know is the longer he's around, the more likely United are to underperform, to slip further down the table, to increase the chances of our quality players that we do want to keep around the club wanting to leave because United are just so far off where they want to be performing. And you can say, oh, we don't want those type of players anyway. I'm sorry, but we want David De Gea. And I couldn't blame David De Gea as much as I want him to be loyal and love Manchester United. He has been loyal already, but as much as I think he should love Manchester United, I wouldn't begrudge him wanting to go and play for Barca or whoever it may be and actually win stuff and actually cement his name in the pantheon of the greats. Do you know what I mean? Because he's good enough to do that. If he was at a team that was just winning stuff like Pep's Barcelona side or Sir Alex's United side, he would be in the pantheon of the greats. But at the moment, how many Premier League trophies has David De Gea won? I just want to put that out there. I think it might only be one. Maybe it's two. But Sir Alex signed him when he was 18, and I think maybe we only won one or two after that. And if you think of the amount of time that David De Gea has been at this club, and the amount of trophies that he's won for a player of his quality coming into a setup like United was under Fergie, he must be freaking pissing on the strawberries every night. But that doesn't make any sense, but you know what I mean? Like having his strawberries pissed on every night. Because that's how it must feel. It must not be good, because he's come in expecting to have this amazing career at this amazing club, and it is an amazing club. But he's barely won anything. He's won Europa Leagues and all that sort of stuff. But it's not like he's won all these numerous Premier League trophies. So if I was David De Gea, from a trophy point of view, I'd be very disappointed. Maybe from an individual accolade point of view, he's actually at a really good club because he's getting tested a lot. He's having to perform, which is making people think he is the best player in the world. And he's winning trophy, glove, gold, season, all that shite. So I think David De Gea would want to leave the club at some point. That's all I'm saying. There's certain players at the club I wouldn't want to see leaving in the summer or whenever it may be, just simply because the club is not looking likely to get back into contention. Because that's what we should be doing. We should be competing every single year in every single tournament that we're competing in. We should be competing in the Champions League for sure, which we probably, well, unless we win the Champions League, are not going to be in next year, really. Do you realistically think we can get top four still? Because I don't. Even if we did bring in a top quality manager and he just turns us around immediately and gets us performing well, it's still a massive uphill battle just to be able to close that space down and get back into the top four positions. Thank you very much for your super chat there, James. Alex Rudd with a super chat here. He says, board won't do anything until after the Champions League. You're probably right. That's the thing. If he gets United knocked out the Champions League and we don't qualify through the next round, then I do think there's some stipulation that says they don't have to pay him as much. I think you're absolutely right, Alex. I think they probably will wait, because I don't understand why they wouldn't have made the decision today or a few weeks ago to try and allow this season to be rescued, to try and allow somebody to come in and steer us in the right direction, because that's what everybody knows that we need. It's not working out at the moment. So I think that must be the logical reason. They're waiting. It's a financial decision, and it's absolutely disgusting that they're not prepared to give somebody else the opportunity to turn it around. It's like you're driving into a lake. You know, you made a stop on the pier, but you've driven into the freaking lake, and instead you're just on the shore of the lake. You know, you're just halfway water full of in your car. Your water's half full of your car's half full of water, is what I meant to say. Got a bit of a tongue twister there in the end. And it's filling up. So what do? We floor it deeper into the freaking lake. That is what we're doing right now under the Glazers. They're driving us into a lake. Do you know what I mean? Bollocks, isn't it? So yeah, I think that's probably the case, Alex. Thanks so much for stopping by. Alex Rincon in the house as well. Needed this today. Had a shite weekend. Tell me about it, Alex. It has not been a good one, especially from United point of view. It's left a real bitter taste in the mouth, like going out in Liverpool. And it is just terrible. It's not the way it should be. Us United fans deserves better, because this is an incredibly loyal set of fans. Support the club financially, whatever you want to say. The reason they're such a commercial success is because of the fans. Because of the fans. The Glazers don't respect that. The Glazers weren't prepared to invest like they should have done in the last window. The Glazers now aren't prepared to make the change and allow this club to try and get back to where we should be, which is competing for all major honours, because we are actually one of the best clubs in the history of the world. You know, if you're talking about just history and tradition and what we've won and stuff, we're one of the best clubs in the land. We really are. But at the moment we're miles off, and it's just completely wrong that we've got to the position that we are. It shouldn't be anything like this. We should be still at least competing. It's not like we haven't spent any money. Okay, if the Glazers came in and, you know, like Arsene Wenger, when Arsenal were getting top four, but that's all they could really hope for. It wasn't like they were challenging for the Premier League. You know, they were successful when he first came in. They moved to the Emirates. There was this period where they had to sort of pay off the stadium, and they weren't investing as heavily as a lot of the other clubs were. And you could see that drop off. You could see that they weren't quite able to compete with the big clubs around, you know, the likes of Chelsea and United and that sort of stuff financially, and also not being able to keep a hold of some of their players, probably because of that, also because of the wage structure and that sort of thing. I know they're a big club, they're paying big money, but not quite to the level of those other clubs. And they had this period of time where they had to pay off that stadium, and that had a big effect on the club. Well, we're seeing that right now at Manchester United with the Glazers, because they have bought the club with debt, and that debt is being serviced. And unfortunately, we are seeing a drop off with United because it's having, you know, it's having a knock-on effect. It's not reaching its full potential because all the money's not going back into the club, basically. So it's a freaking absolute shower of shite, lads. It really is. Alex Rudd with another super chat. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to get on and read a bunch of other people's comments here as well. I'm not just going to read the super chats out in case you guys were thinking that. But I do really appreciate you, Alex, and everybody else. Gungshi, all the usual legends that do send in the super chats. So I have to at least make sure that I do read them all out. That's what I want to do. So Alex Rudd says Sanchez was declining at Arsenal. Last 6 months were bad. Fair enough. I mean, you would know better than me, but certainly before that, he was absolutely amazing. And I seem to remember, even if the last 6 months were bad, he was still like the talisman. He was still one of the best performers, and he was still like head and shoulders above everybody else in the side. So I'm still expecting more from Alexis Sanchez at this club. I wouldn't be surprised if he moves on soon. But then again, that's the thing. Are we just going to cut on losses? The amount of money that he's being paid, there was no transfer fee involved or whatever, a very low one, Mkhitaryan going the other way. I don't forget what it was now. But he's being paid an extortionate amount of money per week. That's what happens when you come on a free deal or a low deal. If there's the contract of the club is running out, then like Zlatan is another one. Then you pay a big signing on fee and you pay big wages. That's just how it works, because you know you're cutting out the middleman effectively at the club. And I don't see anybody else matching Sanchez's wages. Now, I'm not sure of the length of time on the contract of Sanchez, but what I'm saying is I don't think we're going to be getting rid of him. What we need to see happen is a new manager come in, restore the faith that he has in himself as a player, restore his confidence, and just get him performing much better in a quality system of football. Because I think he is a quality player. You know, you say he was declining. I'm sure he was declining. He's aging. But even a declining Sanchez should be able to perform better than we've seen from him. But the system, the manager, all that stuff is a big problem. Somebody else could come in and turn Sanchez back into the player he was at Arsenal. I firmly believe that. I don't think that he's over the hill. How old is he? It's not like he's 36, is it? What is he, 31, 32, 33, 32? So I think Sanchez still has something to offer the club. If somebody could come in and actually get us playing decent bloody football. Why Hate comments and says, I mean, given all the old timers, new contracts. Right, I'm going to go through all your comments now, guys. So get them in. Get them in at the end here. Everybody who's tuning in as well, I'll say it again. Smash a like on this video. If you're new around here, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. This show, Monday Analysis, is available on soundcloud.com/flyingpig podcast. You can also search Flying Pig Podcast or Monday Analysis on iTunes or any podcast app that you have. They're on most of them. You'll be able to listen to them. I'll upload the audio version of this after to SoundCloud, and then it will be available on all your podcast apps to be able to listen to. So you can catch it weekly. If you'd rather not watch me, I don't blame you. If you'd rather just listen to me, I do blame you. Then you can do that there. So go over there, subscribe. You can always also leave a 5-star rating on iTunes if you so wish. It would be much appreciated. Please do that. And yeah, and it'll be every single. I say every single week. It's not always every single week, but certainly it'll be the weeks when I've got a lot to say on a Monday. So this is what this show is. We cover all things football, Premier League, United, that sort of stuff. So if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe and just keep an eye out for upcoming vids on the channel. Mohammed Shahid comments and says, United fans are divided. At the game, Jose in fans attacking other Man United YouTubers, really. I mean, that's the first I've heard of it, but you're always going to get that at a football club. I think right now, though, it's probably the lowest it would be in terms of percentages for the Jose in lot and the Jose out lot. I would say that a few months ago or a month ago, there was still a lot of Jose in people knocking about the gaff. There were. And I can understand it. They don't want to see United becoming this club that just sacks managers left, right and centre. They want to give opportunities, and his history, his reputation would dictate that he could probably turn it around and still compete with Manchester United and still win things. And he did that in his first season at United, and he is a storied manager. He's won stuff wherever he's been. But I think at the moment, there's probably only a couple of percent of United fans that really, truly believe that sticking with Jose Mourinho would be the best thing for the club going forward. I can't see how anybody can think like that, because I just see the way that we're playing out there. Forget the results and all that. The performances are terrible. I can understand if we just had a horrible bit of bad luck, or other teams have just been better than us, and we just had things not go our way, bad decisions here and there. That sort of stuff, I can understand it if we were in this position. But it's the manner in which we perform against Liverpool, our bitter rivals, looking so far off the pace. It's the manner in which we have played a lot of times at Old Trafford this season, conceding early against teams we shouldn't be, having to play in the second half, only really playing good, expansive, attacking football once we're behind in games, once it's a necessity, once we have to. So I can understand why the United fans would be divided, but I think the people that think Jose Mourinho should be in right now are just a little bit foolish, if I'm totally honest. I don't want to offend anyone, but basically, if you want Jose Mourinho still as manager of the club, you're a twat. That's what I'm saying, basically, because how can you want that? How can you want that style of football? It's not even effective. Fair enough, if we were winning every single game and it was boring as fook, then fair enough, because we're being successful. But we're not doing that. We're watching terrible football, too defensive, too negative. The players don't look comfortable with the system that we're playing. They don't look confident. We've got players on 300k a week who cost 80, 90 mil. Multiple players playing like dog shite. So, the people that think Jose Mourinho is still the right man for the club, they want their heads knocking together, honestly. All two of them. Because I just don't think that you can justify it anymore. He's had his time, he's had the money, and he's proven that he's just not good enough. He's just not quite big enough for the job that is Manchester United. And it is a very big job. It's a very big shoes to fill, trying to emulate, or at least in some way replicate the success that Alex Ferguson had. Nobody's ever really going to do that, but it's just about striving towards that excellence. He's had his time. He's tried. He's failed. He's a wanker. Now do want Jose. That's sort of how I feel. If Jose Mourinho's son or daughter's watching this, I apologise, but, I'm sure your dad's all right, but he's not great at managing this club, I'm telling you. We've got a comment here from Play Nice, who comments and says, remember the US tour negativity? Jose lost me as a fan there. That set our season up terribly, didn't it? All that negativity and the criticising Shaw, criticising the club for not getting the transfers in, maybe justifiably. All sorts of stuff happened in that tour, and the fact that we performed so badly, it set our season up terribly. That's not the way you want to go into a Premier League campaign. With that negativity, with that bad of a start in the tour, underperforming, and also controversy. It's terrible, He really has shown on a lot of occasions that he's not the most professional of managers. He's not the most intelligent of managers in the media. Okay, sometimes you can say, he takes the pressure off the players by highlighting things with himself, by being controversial, which puts all the eyes on him rather than people talking about and criticising the players, and it takes the pressure off for the next game and stuff like that. And managers do that, and it's great. But at the same time, the criticism he's had of the players, the argument with Paul Pogba he had on the training ground, the cameras are there. It's a little bit unprofessional. It's a little bit stupid, just to allow that out into the media world. It doesn't set a good precedence for, the feeling around the club. The feeling around the club within the dressing room. There's no positives coming from that. Whether or not you can say it had that much of a negative effect, there's certainly no positives coming from that. So I think some of the stuff he's done has really put me off him. I've said previously in my last Monday analysis episode that I would like to see us go with somebody like Eddie Howe, who is younger, who's more progressive, who plays nice football with a shite team. And yeah, it's a big gamble, and he's never managed a club with a reputation of United, and the amount of pressure compared to managing Bournemouth is totally different. But I like the way that his teams play football, even though they're half championship players. I like the way they play football. Plus, what I really like about him is he fits that whole mould of being a professional Man United manager. You know, he's personable, he's cool-headed, he's not controversial in any way. He's always professional, and I just think that is the sort of manager we should have as an ambassador of the club. And he knows the Premier League, and he knows football. He definitely does. So that would be my next shout for manager of Manchester United. But I know Zidane, Giggsy, Pochettino. I don't think Pochettino would want to come at the moment. It's a huge challenge. He's got a great squad over there. He's probably more likely to win stuff in the next couple of years with Spurs than we are if he came over to United, because he's got to change so much in a short space of time to get us anywhere near that Spurs side. Imagine that we would be saying that, or I would be saying that we've got a lot of work to do to get anywhere near Spurs. It's fucking wrong, man. Oh, it's totally wrong where we are right now. Jose, you're a complete melter, mate. You're a complete Portuguese mug. Do one, honestly. Just do yourself a favour and resign. It's not working out, is it? Resign. Give up your compensation package. Admit that you're a shite at this club. You're not the right fit. Go and manage whoever. Somewhere else in Europe, I'm sure you'd be successful. I really do. I do think he's a good manager. I think most of the time he can make it work, but he's not the right fit for this club. He's just not. Maximilian7, how's it going, Max? Comments and says, hey, Pig, great to see you as always. Great to see you too, Maximilian. Even if we sack Jose, do you trust this board to get the right replacement? I think the decision, good question, Max. I think the decision that they will make will be a footballing decision. I don't think it'll be a commercial decision. I think it will be a footballing decision out of necessity, out of fans, revolt, whatever you want to say. They're going to have to appoint somebody. And my personal opinion is they will appoint Zidane, because he's got a big name, big reputation. I personally don't think that would be the right way to go. I think it is a better way to go than we've got right now. And I think in a lot of ways, like the fact that he did play at the very highest level, he was successful with Madrid, at least in Europe and stuff, while he had that short spell of management. It's a different type of club, but he's managed at a big club. It was different. The squad was just way better. They're in a way better place than we are right now. It would be a very big challenge for Zidane. Now, Eddie Howe, on the other hand, is at the other end of the spectrum in terms of reputation. Better reputation as a manager, in my opinion, but he's not won the Champions Leagues. But bringing Bournemouth up from League 2 to the Premier League, that's a pretty damn good managerial achievement in English football. I think that's amazing. So I would go for him. I know it's not a popular choice. Some people agree with me. Most people want Zidane. I think they will appoint Zidane, and I think, who knows, really? We can only say, you can say, do you trust the board to get the job right? It's not really a hard decision from my point of view. And it's not really that much of a risk because we're doing so badly at the moment. It's kind of like when we got rid of Moyes or Louis van Gaal. You expected the next person to come in to be able to do at least a bit better. So it's not that much of a gamble. So I don't think it's a case of trusting them, really. I just think it's a case of me wanting them to make the decision with Mourinho now, and them just giving the opportunity to somebody else to get the right replacement, because it's hard to get the right replacement at a club like United. It's going to be a huge challenge for anybody. So I just think they've got to just do it on a whim now, basically. Just appoint somebody, one of the candidates, and give them a go. What's the worst that can happen? Ask Dr. Pepper. He'll tell you we'll replace Van Gaal with Jose. That's the worst that can happen. We sacked Louis van Gaal after winning the FA Cup. Immediately, we won the FA Cup, and okay, it's the end of the season, it is different, but I don't understand why this board is not prepared to make the decision and make the change now, and actually allow the new manager a little bit of time to try and get his players playing properly, try and get the team performing how he wants, try and sign somebody in January. The longer we wait around and allow Jose to manage the side, the further we're going to plummet. It is as simple as that, because he's just not the right fit. He's not getting the best out of these players. The players hate him. You can see that they don't like the system. And I can understand it. If you're an expressive, attacking, talented footballer, you do not want to be shackled by some defensive, slow, dreary Jose Mourinho defensive style football, do you? I don't think so anyway. Okay, maybe if you can, you say, oh, well, I want to play more forward passes, I want to make more forward runs, and he's having a go at you for not tracking back and not being in a position, and you want to do that stuff. But if you're winning every single game, you've got to say, fair enough, he knows what he's talking about. But I think these players are being told to do roles that they are not comfortable with, and it's not working, and it hasn't worked. So they've lost all confidence in the system right now. Everybody can see that. Apart from the board, apart from the owners. Make the decision. Thank you very much for your question there, Max. Play Nice comments and says boycott. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that would be a great way of actually indicating to the Glazers and the owners that we're not happy with the way it's going. If the fans are not going for the turnstiles, they're not buying the tickets, the club's not making as much commercially, it will have an effect on the owners because they'll have to look at the situation and say, the fans aren't happy, we've got to address this because they're businessmen at the end of the day. They're not football fans, they're businessmen. They'll be looking at the bottom line. And if it hurts their bottom line, that's the best place you can hurt them. That's all these people know. So if it hurts their bottom line, then maybe, just maybe, it'll force them into getting rid of Jose and appointing somebody else, you know. We can only hope. I mean, I wanted Jose to be successful. You know I all did. I was happy when we appointed him. Mostly because he was replacing Louis van Gaal, who was terrible. The first season under Jose, it was refreshing. We were better than the Louis van Gaal days, and we did win things. Not the best things, but we did win things, and that is pretty awesome. The fact that he did that in a transitional season. So fair play to him. I was happy that we had him. But you can't make excuses for him anymore because we keep paying him an obscene amount of money. He's had an obscene amount of money to spend, maybe not in the last window, but we still ended up forking out 50 million quid for Fred, and God knows how much for Dalot. You know, and Dalot looks really good. I'm excited about the prospect of Dalot. And Fred, you know, he looks okay. He's not really been given too many opportunities to flourish in this United side this season. And when he has been selected, it's in this horrible system with this underperforming, unconfident team. So it's a tough situation to come into and perform. But it's not like he hasn't spent any money. It's not like he's had no signings. He's not fielding a team of Louis van Gaal signings or anything, you know. People saying, oh, Louis van Gaal was signed Pogba and stuff like that. I do think we signed Pogba in that transitional period when we appointed Jose Mourinho, and Jose probably didn't know too much about it. But surely he would be happy about having Paul Pogba at the club because at the time he looked like one of the best prospects in Europe, one of the best players in Europe already, you know, banging them in for Juventus week in, week out, and just driving the team forward and winning games. A true match winner, goal-scoring midfielder, box-to-box maestro. Oh, anyway, I've forgotten what I was talking about there. Everybody who is tuning in, you're a bunch of legends. We've just got one more super chat here from James Arnold, and then I'm going to look at wrapping up this video because we've been going for 52 minutes now, lads and lasses. I'm feeling pretty hungry, but it's been good today. I was feeling very tense earlier on, very, very upset with United and very stressed out, and I still am, and I'm sure I'll feel like that in a minute. But sometimes when I do these videos, it makes me feel even more pissed off because it highlights everything, and certainly post-match reactions, sometimes I get even more wound up by the end of the video than I am at the start. But today, I feel like I've got some stuff off my chest. I don't want to see the Glazers owning the club anymore. The fact is they will until somebody comes in with a crazy offer, which is probably not going to happen for anytime soon. But I think what we should do as fans is really, that's it, make a protest, make a point, boycott. As the lad said a minute ago, Play Nice said, because that would really indicate to them that we're not happy with the situation, the way the team's playing, the manager, your decisions, your ownership, you know, we love United, we hate the Glazers. It's as simple as that. Get the yellow and gold out, lads. It's time to get the yellow and gold out, because until these owners show that they do have the club's best interest at heart, and that means in the transfer window, that means in the correct decisions with the coaching staff, sacking Jose Mourinho right now, appointing somebody else, making the right decision. Until they do that, then the only way they're gonna we're gonna change their minds and make them see that they need to do that is by hitting them where it hurts, and that is financially. And you know, we're fans of United. We don't want to hurt our club financially. No way, we don't. But if you don't buy the tickets and you don't turn up to the games, you know, which I'm surprised a lot of you have carried on this long, if I'm honest. And like I said in the previous video, the reason I don't go to games, I live down on the south coast. I'm not making excuses or saying I'm the best fan in the world or anything, but the fact is it's very expensive and it takes a lot of time for me to go to games. You know, hundreds of pounds in a lot of cases, really, because just to get the tickets and train and hotel if necessary, because it's a bit of an undertaking in one day from where I am, but you can do it, and I would do that. But last time I went to see them play, they were shite, and at the moment, it's even worse. So, is it really worth going to spend your hard-earned cash on to go and watch United right now? You want to support the club? Of course you do. That's what football support is about. It's supporting your club through thick and thin. And right now it is through fucking thick or thin, or whichever way the expression works. So, you know, but the fact is, if we did do that, let's just say there were 2,000 or 3,000 people less at the next game. there was an empty section in Old Trafford or whatever, they would have to take notice of that. It would highlight the issue a lot more. So that's my thoughts on it. I think we've got problems from the top down. It's a clusterfuck from the very top down. The Glazers are holding the lube and they're passing it around. I'm sorry about that. That's a terrible analogy. There could be kids watching or ladies watching, and I just made that analogy. Apologies. I'm sorry about that. But look, it's a complete mess from the top down. The owners, the manager, the board, Ed Woodward, Potato Head himself, coaches, I'm sure, so a lot of the players. It's terrible. It's a real bad situation that United's in at the moment. The only way it's going to get better is to make changes. I'd love it if we could sack the chairman, sack the owners, but we can't. We can't. So we've got to hope that they see the opportunity arise somewhere where somebody who might be better for our club would come in and do that. But I think that unless you've got a spare 5 billion around, it's not really very likely, in my opinion. So we're stuck with those bastards, at least for a while, but we are not stuck with Jose Mourinho. We're not stuck with players like Phil Jones and Matic. We're not stuck with those guys. We can make changes. We need to bring in a new manager and change. I'm just going to do a few shout-outs to the people that are commenting at the end here. Much appreciated to everybody, and I mean that, everybody that's tuned in to this episode of Monday Analysis right now today. Shout out to Play Nice, shout out to NY Bad Guy, Barry White, Anthony Evelyn, Jared Mitchell, Gungshi, of course, absolute hero. Behold the GDL, Barry White, hope you're feeling better, Gungshi, honestly. Everybody else, Paul Lucas, there's a bunch of people commenting at the end there. Ultimate Gamer, Nat Rambo, you got yourself a shout out, everybody. Lemonhead. So yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Much appreciated. Thanks so much for stopping by on the channel. Thank you for getting this channel to 21,000 subscribers on YouTube. Come on, my son, get in there. At least something to be happy about, eh? United are shite, but at least we hit 21,000. Tell your friends, tell your granny, tell your cousin, we need to get this channel to 21,100. That's the next milestone. Daniel Westcott, Dilly, Man United, James Doherty. You're all getting in there because you know I'm doing the shout-outs. Goblinstein, Inc. 1. Are you from David Moyes' house? Anyway, everybody, thanks so much for getting involved. Much appreciated. You're a bunch of legends. Do us a favour, smash a like on this video. Like I say, you can find this as an audio podcast. A little bit later it will be published. Check iTunes, check your podcast app on your iPhone or your Android device, whatever you use to listen to podcasts. Check it out. Search Flying Pig Podcast. Search Monday Analysis. You will find it. Subscribe on there. Give it a listen whilst you're on the toilet, whilst you're doing a gym workout, whilst you're doing something else private. Whatever you want to do whilst you're listening to it, you can. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to look at me. You could just turn this off right now and then go and catch the last bit as an audio podcast. Right. I'm going to wrap it up now. Thanks so much for stopping by. You're a bunch of legends. Come on, United. Come on, Glazers. Make the decision. Jose out. Had enough of this Portuguese Mr. Bean prick now. He sickens me. I'll give you a shout out, James Mosgrop. And everybody else, shout out to you all. Thanks for stopping by. Come back next Monday for Monday Analysis. Come back for the next post-match reaction game after United's next game. Thanks so much for getting involved with the channel as ever. And I'll see you very, very soon on Flying Pig United. Oh my days! Come on! I'll keep you up to date with any news and goings on about Jose Mourinho's situation at United. I'm hoping and praying that the announcement will be made very, very soon, today or tomorrow or this week at least, or very soon, that he has been sacked. He has been terminated. We've got Arnie Schwarzenegger in the house, and we've not just sacked him, we've actually terminated the lad. That would be nice. I'll keep you up to date with that. Let's hope that it happens very, very soon, because I do feel that United need a new captain, steer of the ship, if we're ever going to rescue our season and ever going to get back to where we should be, which is striving for 30 excellence. I'll see you soon. This is a Pig on Flying Pig United. Love, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Love you guys. I'll see you soon. This is the Pig. Take it easy and sort your freaking lives out, United.